guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a requested video from my last one. I talked a little bit about my most recent tattoo, this little scorpion guy. I got it on a trip to Greece that just finished. If you watched my last video, then you would know that I get tattoos when I go on a trip. Whatever reminds me of the trip, at the end I get a tattoo. As a little keepsake memory thing. So I've only done this twice because I've only been on 2 trips as an adult, but hopefully it's a tradition that continues because I do enjoy it and I feel like it's a good way to remember the trip as a permanent reminder. Yeah, so to preface this, I guess maybe this was a little bit ignorant of me when we first were going to Greece, but I thought that people in Europe would maybe be a bit more heavily tattooed, a little bit more heavily modified, because a lot of my favorite mod artists, tattoo artists are from Europe and all over Europe. So I kind of thought, hey, probably people there are going to be pretty comfortable with my tattoos. It's not going to be something that's going to be an issue because I will say in Canada, although a lot of people are tattooed, not many people are as heavily tattooed as me, and I do get a lot of looks in public, and sometimes it's a little bit overstimulating. So I was looking forward to going somewhere where that didn't happen quite as much. Unbeknownst to me, when we got there, it was kind of the exact opposite. Don't get me wrong, I loved Greece, I loved the food, the atmosphere, the environment, beautiful. Most of the people, wonderful. First we arrived in Athens, it was beautiful there. First we arrived in Athens and it was beautiful, the people were lovely, I really enjoyed it, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not so much a city person. I definitely like heat, humidity, islands, that's more my kind of vibe, so I was really excited to get out of the city, but I did really enjoy Athens, I loved it. So, being not a city person, I was really excited to leave Athens. We left Athens to Mykonos by a ferry. And when I say it was rough, it was rough. There was a girl throwing up the entire time because the seas were crazy that day. The wind was insane. That luckily, as someone who gets seasick, I say that luckily, out of my boyfriend, his mom, his twin sister, and her husband, only his twin sister also gets seasick, so both of us took 2 gravel and we were totally fine, but everybody else with us threw up, so like blessed for being seasick, I guess, because I just like closed my eyes the entire time and listened to music and slept a little bit, and I was able to make it through. It still made me pretty nauseous, but I made it through without throwing up. Anyways, yeah, so we went into Mykonos town that night for dinner. It was beautiful, love Mykonos, so gorgeous, so windy, windier than I thought it would be, but amazing nonetheless. So yeah, we go into town to get dinner. We're walking back from dinner kind of through all the little shops, and my boyfriend spots this window display that he thinks is really cool. It's kind of like his style, like more alt. He's heavily tattooed as well, so he took a picture of the storefront so he'd remember to come back there the next day as we were going to go shopping. So the next day, we're walking back into town. We go to a few shops. A lot of the workers don't really seem that interested in talking to us, helping us. I kind of just thought, oh, maybe this is kind of just how it is in Mykonos. I'm not sure, or maybe it's just this way in Greece. Like maybe it's just a cultural difference. Like in Canada, people are very like, come up and help you like immediately or offer assistance, which I'm fine if it's a cultural difference. That's totally okay. So yeah, so we were wandering around, kind of doing our own thing. And then we saw the shop that he wanted to go into with the storefront and the like shirt he really liked. So we walk into the store and the woman is inside, the man is sitting outside. So as we walk in, the man follows us in, which is fine. I'm like, oh great, so then we can have like one each to help us because they have a women's level and a men's level. So I was like, oh, that's awesome. They're gonna have like each of them to help us. So there wasn't really anything that caught my eye in there. But my boyfriend went up to the men's level and he started looking around, and he didn't notice this, I noticed this. Everything my boyfriend touched, the man that worked there was fixing the hangers and respacing them and touching them and like brushing them off, almost like we were dirty for touching them or like we were wrecking his clothes. I'm not quite sure. To be fair, not saying like their stuff wasn't nice, but to look at the prices, I was like, oh, like their shirts are like 40 euros. They're acting like they're like Balenciaga or something. Like, it was a little bit strange. So my boyfriend kept looking at shirts. He saw the one that he wanted, but they only had one of each like item out. So he was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to try it, or like I'm supposed to ask them for a different size, or like if they have other ones. Meanwhile, the like man that works there is watching us and he's not saying anything to us. So then I was like, I whispered to my boyfriend, I'm like, I don't feel like you should buy anything here. The vibe's kind of weird, and like he's just kind of like following you around fixing everything. My boyfriend's like, oh really? And I was like, yeah, so maybe we shouldn't buy anything here. And he was like, yeah, no, totally. So as we're heading out, this other couple walks in, about our age. Neither of them looked like tattooed at all. I'm not sure whether they had any, but like it didn't appear that they had any. Immediately they both go up to these people and just like interact with them, help them, talk to them. We're like, okay, so it's just us that we're not welcome. I see. Okay. Which is interesting because they were both heavily tattooed, the workers, as I said. So then, yeah, we kind of had a few more experiences like that through Mykonos. But I just kind of thought, oh, like people have said that Mykonos is a bit more like snooty sometimes, so perhaps that's just like how it is here. I'm gonna go back to the reason I got the Scorpion and my Scorpios experience kind of like at the end of this. But then we go to Santorini, very like much like worse than Mykonos in terms of we were followed around most stores we went into. People did not want to help us. It was like a very weird vibe, and like we both dressed very nicely. We were with his mom. There's no reason they think we're gonna steal, but we were treated pretty poorly in Santorini, which was kind of disappointing. I was very excited to go there. Sometimes we were treated nicely, like a few of the restaurants and stuff we were definitely treated nicely, but in all the stores we went to, it was very much like we were treated like we were lesser than, which really sucked. Yeah, so then we went to Henia in Crete, and there we were treated probably the best we were treated everywhere, other than my story time. But yeah, in Henia we were treated very, very well. Loved it, had so much fun. I would recommend like Crete over any of the other islands that I went to because I just like loved it. The weather was beautiful, the people were amazing, there was so much to do. And that's where I actually ended up getting my tattoo. So I will insert a picture of their shop name here because I don't know how to pronounce it. And I will link their Instagram below. But yeah, they were amazing. Definitely recommend if you are in Crete and are wanting a tattoo. So into the part about the Scorpion and why I got the Scorpios logo and about my experience there as you listen to my whole preamble about everything. But I gave context. Yeah, so when we were in Athens, we went to this wonderful restaurant called Raya. Our waiter was amazing, and they had the most amazing burrata salad. I absolutely loved it. I tried to go back to the one in Mykonos, Raya, and get the same salad. They didn't have it there, so if you're in Athens, get it, because it's amazing. But yeah, so he told us he was from Mykonos, and we said, oh, we're going to Mykonos next. Where would you recommend us to go in Mykonos? Activities, restaurants, anything. And he was like, if I was to recommend one thing, I'd recommend Scorpios. He's like, it's like a life-changing experience, it's so beautiful, all these things. And he was telling us he spent like all the time there, he loved it. So we were like, to like kind of preface this, I had heard about Scorpios, I had read reviews, I had watched videos, I had heard a ton of things about Scorpios. I kind of considered going, but I'd also heard a lot of negatives of people not being allowed in, people being like rejected at the door, rude, like all sorts of things. So I kind of thought, I don't know, partying isn't really me and my boyfriend's thing anyway, and do we really want to experience something that could be like a negative on our trip? But we kind of talked to his mom a little bit about it, and she was like, no, you guys will be fine. You're like young and beautiful. You'll get in for sure. She actually ended up coming with us, which was such a special night. So we had already decided not to go before the trip, because I kind of looked into it. Like I said, we weren't partiers. But then with a local's glowing recommendation, that made me reconsider, because I'm like, if a local's recommending it, that to me like gives it more merit. So I was like, let's look into it. The only day they had available for a group of our size, which was 5, was actually the day of me and my boyfriend's anniversary. So we were going to invite his twin sister, his brother-in-law, his mom, and then us. So we were really excited, and kind of some family drama stuff happened. So his sister and his brother-in-law ended up not coming. His mom still came, which was amazing. But I was kind of a bit nervous because I tried to change the reservation to just be us 3. It wouldn't let me change it, and when I tried to cancel it, it said there's no room for just 3 people. So I was like, oh no. So when we get there, they're probably gonna not let us in, or they're gonna be like upset, or it says if you like don't show up and don't cancel, you get €100 charge. So yeah, it said that there was €100 charge if you didn't show up. So I was like, we might just have to pay €200 for them to not show up. That might be all we have to do. I'm not sure. Or they might just not let us in. So I was really, really nervous. But then when we got there, actually, as we were walking up, there was an older couple ahead of us. And I heard them get refused at the door and told that there was no room for a group of their size. I was like, oh no. I'm like, we're going to get turned away too. So then we walk up. They greet us, they're super nice. We let them know my name because the reservation was under me. And they said, oh, it says here it's for 5. And I was like, oh yeah, 2 people just like weren't able to come. They said, that's okay, that's wonderful. We still have a table for you, don't worry. So I was like, okay, amazing. My boyfriend was a little bit nervous too because it said you had to fill in all this information about yourself beforehand, and he had completely forgot. And I said, oh, well, it says don't worry about it because like if you show up and you haven't done it, they'll just get you to do it there. So he was ready to do that. They didn't ask him to do that at all. So yeah, we get all checked in and we get told to follow one of the staff to our table. As we're walking, she turns to me and she's like, oh my God, I love your tattoos. She's like, how long did this take? Did it hurt? All these questions. She's being super friendly. And then she's telling me about her tattoos and explaining them. As we're talking about tattoos, she's giving us a full tour of the place, showing us where the bathrooms are, showing us where the like gift shop is, showing us where there's a bar if we don't want to go back to our table and we just want to order drinks when the music is on, where we can go to do that. Giving us tips and tricks about where the best lighting is for photos. So much information, so kind, so lovely. So yeah, then she passes us off to this other hostess and she brings us to our actual table. It was like, literally, I can't think there's any better table there. I will show you pictures of it right here, but like, it was amazing. So beautiful. I got some of my best pictures there. I loved it so much. Our waiter comes up, he's so friendly, he's amazing. He gives us suggestions, like what you would hope from a waiter. Another staff member comes up after a little bit and he's like a bus boy kind of person there. And he's super friendly, he's making jokes with us, talking with us. I was like, wow, this is such a different experience than the rest of Greece so far. It was really special and somewhere I had a lot of anxiety about, that anxiety got fully relieved as we got there. Just everyone was being so friendly, treating us like we were any other customer. They even brought us like drinks to, or like little shots of drinks to try to see what we liked the best of a few different drinks. Like they were just amazing and totally different experience than the rest of Greece that I had so far. So I was so thankful for that. And the music starts and me and my boyfriend just had so much fun dancing, listening to music. His mom joined us for a little bit after she was like, okay, I'm gonna go sit down. This is a bit much for me. But as I said, neither of us are partiers, but we like just loved it, enjoyed ourselves, danced so much, really like got into it, enjoyed the atmosphere. And then during the night they played a Spice Girls song right before we were kind of like getting ready to leave. And Spice Girls is something me and my best friend bonded over when we first kind of met. We talked about like we both love Posh Spice. We've watched Spice World together, so just like that reminded me so much of her, and I was like, oh my god, this is like the most magical moment. Because after feeling like I didn't fit in and I was like kind of lesser than in other parts of Greece, I was like, this is amazing. So then we left, and kind of my goal while I was out there was to see a dolphin. I did not see a dolphin, but I kind of said if I saw a dolphin, I would get a dolphin tattoo. But then I didn't see one. And then I was like, what really stood out to me during this trip? What was like a really like special moment or something that would remind me of this trip? And I was like, you know what? Like the most accepted I felt this entire trip was at Scorpios in Mykonos. So I was like, let me just get a Scorpios tattoo. So that is truly what I did. I went and got a Scorpios tattoo. Like it's actually their logo. Because I just felt like in all of Greece, that was the area I felt the most accepted, the most myself. It was so nice. Like normally I don't really love talking about my tattoos, but after being treated like lesser than, and then having someone actually like, oh my god, I love your tattoos, it was such a nice feeling. It made me feel accepted. So I was like, you know what, I think this is the perfect tattoo to represent our trip. Spice Girls reminded me of my best friend. It was me and my boyfriend's 1-year anniversary. So yeah, so that's why I got it. Maybe it's a little bit of a silly reason, but if you've ever felt like really left out and really excluded, which I have in my life, it's a hard feeling. So to feel like you're accepted and like people want you there, it really was a special experience. And I would definitely recommend Scorpios. It was so beautiful and I would definitely go back. But yeah, that's my story time of why I got a scorpion tattoo in Greece. Bye guys!